The stickman appears radiant, with a wide smile, holding up a golden credit card as if he had just won a championship cup. He thinks out loud. Now, yes, freedom, power, a guaranteed future. Element. On his head, that little piece of plastic glows like a magic key that opens all the doors. The first gesture is to buy without feeling the immediate pain of the money going out. A brand new television, the cell phone I've always wanted, even a trip in 12 installments that seems free. In his imagination, everything is like in bank commercials, happy families. Laughter around the table, miles falling from the sky like shooting stars, ready to turn any wish into reality. But with each click of the machine, a discreet shadow begins to grow behind him, as if it were a reflection that no one notices at first. The feeling of freedom slowly transforms into an invisible chain, delicate but firm, which winds the arms, legs, and neck. The stickman still doesn't realize it. He keeps smiling and believing that he is in control, but in fact he is already trapped inside a web of numbers, interest, and promises that he himself pulled over his own head. The card is neither a hero nor a villain, but the gateway to a game of hidden rules, where the house always wins, and he, naively, thinks he will come out of there as a champion. The stickman, excited about his new superpower called the limit, begins to test how far he can go. He buys the most modern cell phone. After all, you can pay in 12 installments without interest. Then, she picks up fashionable clothes because it's just another click. Even the extra pizza from the weekend goes into the bill, since the card always says yes, never complains, never denies. It's a fake friend who only appears smiling at party time. But this smile has an expiration date. At the end of the month, the bill arrives. And it doesn't arrive as a simple folded paper or a notification on your cell phone. She appears as a giant monster, made of inflated numbers, endless zeros, running after the stickman in a dead-end hallway. He runs, stumbles, tries to run away, but the monster grows faster with each forgotten plot. The freedom promised by the card dissolves like smoke, revealing that it never existed. If the stickman had used it with discipline, maybe he would even get advantages, points, discounts, miles. But the illusion is precisely in believing that the card has a life of its own, that it can be a savior, hero, or a destructive villain in its own right. The truth is much less spectacular, but much harsher. The card is just plastic. True power is in the mind that holds it, in the decision to use it or not. But this part, the stickman still insists on not wanting to learn. Suddenly, the stickman finds himself divided into two caricatured characters. On one side, the hero of the card appears, dressed in a shiny cape, defending points, miles, interest-free installments, and cashback as if they were superpowers. Capable of turning any mortal into a millionaire, he yells, "Use the card!" He will open doors, give you free trips, always leave you on top. Element. On the other side, the villain appears, dark, with red eyes and chains of debt in his hands. He screams about abusive interest rates, bills that never end, financial traps that suck the life out of those who dare to believe in plastic. The two start fighting as if they were in a wrestling ring, exchanging punches, shouts, and promises, while the real stickman stands in the middle, confused, not knowing who to believe. This chaotic scene only reveals the real absurdity, treating the credit card as if it were a soap opera character, a good guy to idolize or a villain to hate. Basically, the card has no morals of its own. He doesn't think, he doesn't feel, he doesn't decide. It is just a tool, and like any tool, it can either build a safe bridge or bring down an entire house. The responsibility is never on the card, but on those who hold it. And if you want to continue discovering these ironic truths that no one tells you about money and consumption, subscribe to the channel right now, because here, even the stickman learns to face reality. The stickman, after spending so much in accumulating points, finally believes that the time has come to reap the rewards of his financial effort. He imagines himself organizing an epic barbecue with friends, a hearty table, succulent meats, cold sodas, loud music, and everyone laughing. In his mind, the points accumulated on the card would turn into magical gifts, almost as if they were video game coins exchanged for incredible prizes. But when he enters the site to redeem the long-awaited magic miles, reality hits like a bucket of cold water. He discovers that he has to pay hidden fees, wait for absurd deadlines, and, in the end, he doesn't get even half of what he had planned. The colorful party unravels before his eyes. The barbecue turns to smoke and the dream evaporates, leaving only an empty table, and instead of the smile of friends, what appears is the image of a bank rubbing its hands, profiting from yet another sold illusion. The card was not the hero of the story, nor the villain. It was just a trick of a skilled illusionist, capable of convincing the stickman to believe in promises that would never be fulfilled in the way he imagined. Deep down, the real power was never in the points, but in the way he believed in them. Now, tell me, have you ever fallen into this illusion of the miracle rewards of the credit card? Leave your experience here in the comments, because I bet it's not just the stickman who has dreamed of a barbecue that never happened. The stickman opens the invoice with the naive hope that, this time, the bill will be lower, but the shock comes right at the first line. Interest rates are so high that it seems that he has signed, without realizing it, a lifelong plan to never get out of the debt wheel. With each installment paid, a new one appears in its place, as if it were a streaming subscription to hell itself. No cancel button, no free trial option, and always with unreleased episodes of pain in your pocket. The stickman tries to find a way to escape. He reviews the contract, clicks on all possible options, looks for the magic exit cycle button. But he discovers that he simply does not exist. There is no shortcut, there is no instant cancellation, there is no easy way out. It's like being stuck in a room full of doors, but they all lead back to the same place. At that moment, the penny drops. The card has no morals of its own, does not think, does not plot against anyone. He is not an invincible villain, just as he has never been a savior, hero. The real problem was believing in both illusions at the same time, that the card would be the rope that would pull the stickman to the top, or the weight that would sink him for good. Basically, the trap was built by himself, step by step, click by click, until he transformed the promise of freedom into an eternal contract with interest. And it is in this shock that he realizes the enemy or ally was never the plastic, but the way he chose to use it. The stickman plummets in freefall, without a parachute, into a dark and endless abyss. Around it, there are not only rocks or shadows, but a veritable swirl of expired bills, endless invoices, exclusive cashback advertisements, and flashing ads. Congratulations, your limit has increased. Element. Each time he tries to hold on to something, he only finds more papers, more fine print, more colorful promises that crumble like dust in his hands. At the bottom of this abyss, he is not alone. There he meets other stickmans, each with their own story of exaggeration or denial. Some are proud of never having touched a credit card, but missed opportunities to build history, enjoy benefits, or better organize their finances. Others, on the contrary, used too much, believed in every promise, and ended up buried by unpayable debts, living hostage to interests that grows faster than any effort to pay them. This coexistence in the abyss reveals the cruel irony. The real mistake was never to use or not to use the card, but to believe that it alone could define the course of financial life. The card is not a destiny, it is not an oracle, it is not a judge who decides victory or defeat. It is just a reflection, a mirror that shows without filters the habits, choices, and priorities of those who carry it. And in front of this mirror, the stickman understands that the fall did not begin on the card, but on the illusions that he himself fed. The stickman, after all the fall and the shock with reality, slowly gets up. He is tired, but carries a new clarity in his eyes. He looks at the card in his hand and finally understands this is not a good guy ready to save him, nor a villain plotting his ruin. It is just a tool, cold and neutral, that only gains power depending on how it is used. He realizes that the real victory is not in demonizing the card, much less in idolizing it as if it were a passport to wealth. Real victory is born of responsibility, of awareness in each choice. The card can be the key that opens doors to benefits and organization, but it can also be the shackle that binds invisible chains of debt and illusions. And the difference between a key and a handcuff is not in the plastic, but in the hand that holds it. The narrator then launches the final provocation, directly at the viewer. What about you? Will you continue to treat the card like a soap opera character, oscillating between love and hate, or will you finally take the lead role in your own financial story? The scene closes with the stickman staring at the audience, while a new screen appears. If you want to continue learning to see the hidden side of money and find out where the traps really are, watch the video now that is playing on the screen. Your next choice may be the key, or the handcuff.